Hi everyone, this is Elaine. Welcome. Spinning globe is only true in fairy tales. Only the truth will set you free. The lies were out to get me.
If you've ever seen The Truman Show, you can see how it's a lot like waking up. Waking up to this fake reality that we find ourselves living in. News stories are completely fabricated and are crafted to instill fear into the population and divide the people along with religion and politics. The education system is a brainwashing machine in place to teach slaves how to function with a shitty job in a society that's crumbling by design. The allopathic medical system harms people instead of healing them or teaching them how to heal. The food isn't real. The drinks aren't real. The movie, music, fashion, and adult film industries are all highly responsible for fueling this toxic environment that's constantly degrading around us. When one begins to see all this and awaken from a lifetime of deception, it's very much reminiscent of the character Truman of The Truman Show. Before The Matrix, there was The Truman Show. Whoa. A 1998 film starring Jim Carrey, or JC, as Truman Burbank, the unwitting superstar of the world's most popular television program that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For nearly 30 years, Truman is completely unaware of the fact that his life is being broadcast live every minute of every day, with roughly 5,000 hidden cameras within the set. The set is a giant domed structure in Burbank, California, which is where Truman gets his last name. Inside the dome, there is an entire mock-up island town called Sea Haven. All the press within the domed set works to keep Truman complacent. There is a scene where Truman is making a phone call to try and track down a woman that he believes moved to Fiji. Right when he does this, a co-worker pops up and reveals a fresh newspaper where the headline reads, "The best place on Earth, Sea Haven, voted planet's top town," just before flashing a Masonic hand gesture. Another example of keeping Truman under mind control is when Truman is a boy in school. He expresses that he wants to be an explorer, but his teacher completely shuts him down.
I'd like to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan.
Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
And when Truman expresses to his fake wife that he wants to see the world, she explains how it's not a good idea because they are tied down by finances.
We have mortgage payments, Truman. We have car payments. What, we're just gonna walk away from our financial obligations?
But pretty much everyone missed the bigger picture. This film is about you. It's about your life. You are Truman, the true man, or true woman, or simply change Truman Show to The Human Show. You have been closely monitored since the day you were born, and by now you have also been conditioned to be okay with that fact. You go through their schooling and you're taught only what they want you to know. With this amazing knowledge, you become a paycheck-earning member of the workforce and begin making make-believe money so you can feed it back into the system, creating a perpetual cycle where you are always enslaved by the debts you owe. It's a trap, and you can't get out of it. Meanwhile, you're being kept in the dark about where you live. Just like Truman, or the true man, lives underneath a dome, you too live underneath a dome, a much larger one compared to the movie. The dome you dwell in is a natural part of your cosmology, since as far back as we know, all the cultures of the world have embraced living within this dome, or knew, rather. These are just the ones we know about. The Sumerians' mythology says that a primeval sea existed before anything else and that the heaven and the earth were formed within it. The boundary between the primeval sea and the earth, a flat disk, was a solid vault, within which was a gas-like atmosphere. The stars, planets, sun, and moon were embedded in this solid vault. One day, Truman is walking outside to go to work, and a stage light that serves as a fake star falls from the mini-dome that he lives in. The light is labeled Sirius 9 Canis Major. Sirius is a real star, It's a binary star, known as the dog star and the brightest star in the night sky. This was a very important luminary to the ancients, and to this day remains a very significant, if not the most significant star to Freemasonry and the occult in general. In a book called Morals and Dogma, 33rd degree Freemason Albert Pike wrote, "The blazing star in our lodges, we have already said, represents Sirius." The Truman Show is very telling, and it's funny how the logo for The Truman Show has the NASA blue marble in it. Gives away the fact that the false spinning globe model is merely a prison for your mind. There's a deleted scene from The Truman Show that is of great interest for Flat Earth, and I'll roll it right now.
Personally, I think the unconquered south face is the only one worth scaling.
It's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice.
But that's never stopped me before. Risk? Of course I'm aware of the risks. Thank you for your concern.
Don't you find it strange that in this movie that already contains major in-your-face symbolism for Flat Earth, that they even considered doing a scene like that, talking about ice walls? In the most accepted Flat Earth model, Antarctica is not a continent like it is on the bottom of the false globe model, but it's a massive ring of ice that holds everything we know of within. These walls are nearly 200 feet high, and when you do your research, are more plausible than you first think. Admiral Richard E. Byrd completed many missions to do with Antarctica. Some of them included names like Operation High Jump or Operation Deep Freeze. High Jump because the walls are huge and it would have been quite the task to get up there. Also, this reminds me of a Jacques Cousteau documentary called Voyage to the Edge of the World that's about going to Antarctica. Another interesting part of this movie is the fact that the creator of The Truman Show is named Christoph. That's easily comparable to Christ when you look at his name and the way it's spelt. Christ of. And one of the names of the network executives is Moses. At the end of the movie, Truman appears to be walking on water, and before he makes his exit out of the mini-dome, he's talking to Christoph, whose voice sounds like it's coming from the sun.
Truman, you can speak. I can hear you.
Then Truman puts his body in the shape of a cross, and finally leaves. Heavily encoded film, extremely symbolic to the point where it's just mind-blowing. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you are the true man, and you really are living in a much larger version of The Truman Show.
It's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice.
The deceivers, those who lie.